We actually saw 13 Republicans defect on this. It was a somewhat close vote in the House, and that's because they have big concerns about how deeply hurt the middle-class constituents of theirs will be in districts in New York and New Jersey and California because of the repeal of the state and local tax deduction. This hits middle-class families really hard, and you even saw Republicans coming out to vote against it in not insignificant numbers in the House this week.
It's not a small thing that 13 Republicans actually voted against this bill, especially recognizing that this isn't even going to be the version that eventually gets signed into law if the Senate's able to pass it. So part of what I think is important to also kind of marinate on for a second is the process here, right? When it came to health care, people really were up in arms, and including people like John McCain, that it wasn't regular order that Congress was going through, that they were really kind of in the caricature of a smoke-filled back room, right? Writing the bill under cover of night. And many of the people who were actually in Congress voting on health care repeal they didn't even know what was in the bill, right? And that was a repeated criticism. The same thing is happening here, and actually we've seen that play out just this week, literally like the night before members of Congress were going to vote on this bill, they changed a whole bunch of stuff.
That's exactly right. So Republicans are moving really, really fast on this because they want this bill to see as little daylight as possible, because they know the more people get to take a look at it, the more they're going to hate it. It's already deeply unpopular, which is why they want to get it through lickety-split. So we've been talking about the House bill, which passed yesterday, but the Senate was busy moving on this too. The Senate Finance Committee was dealing with their version of the bill in committee. And just like you said, Rebecca, we saw a number of different versions of the bill get considered in committee. In fact, the markup started Monday. On Tuesday night, we actually saw an entirely different version of the bill almost, with major changes in it, in what we're calling the Tuesday Night Massacre.
Hat tip, Seth Hanlon, that's right. Tuesday Night Massacre, tell your friends.
It was a Tuesday Night Massacre, major changes to the bill that made it somehow even worse than it was already. It was always a bill with secret healthcare cuts in it. And the tax fight always had been the tax fight, but it became explicitly official on Tuesday night because Republicans added repeal of the Affordable Care Act's individual mandate to the tax bill. So what will that do? We know, based on nonpartisan analysis from the Congressional Budget Office, that it'll lead to 13 million more people uninsured, and it'll jack premiums up an extra 10%. So why do Republicans want to do this? It's two things. One, they have an insatiable appetite to repeal the Affordable Care Act at every opportunity that they can.
They're not done trying. They've failed at every juncture so far because the American people have said no and put their foot down, their collective feet down. But they're not done yet. They're trying to do it here.
Yep. And they will not give up on this until they're no longer in office. Then the second thing, and this is perhaps even the more despicable part, is that repealing the individual mandate actually helps them with their math. It buys them about an additional $300 billion. That's money that that right now is going out the door to help low-income people afford their health insurance. By repealing the mandate, Republicans are able to take that $300 billion and give it to corporations in faster and bigger tax cuts.
It's literally reaching into people's pockets, taking their money, and then giving it to wealthy corporations. That's what repeal of the individual mandate does.